Like the new torch.
We're going to start by looking at adding fractions. And this slide is quite nice because it gives us the 3 simple steps. And you might want to copy these into your book. Step 1, make sure the bottom numbers, denominators, are the same. If they're not the same, you have to make them the same. And we'll look at how to do that in a minute. Once step 1's done, and they are the same, you then just add the top numbers, the numerators, and put the answer over the denominator. Step 3, simplify the fraction if you can. We're going to look at some examples now so you can see how that works. In this first example, I've got a quarter and a quarter. So, step 1, the bottom numbers, the denominators, these are already the same. So I don't have to do anything. So I can go straight to step 2. Step 1 is done. Step 2, I need to add the top numbers and put the answer over the same denominator. So my denominator stays the same, but I have to add my top numbers, okay, my numerators. So I'm adding the 1 and 1, which gives me 2. That's step 2 done. This leaves me with 2 quarters, and step 3 says I now need to simplify that. And simplify 2 quarters, well, I can divide 2 and 4 by 2, which gives me a half. That's done. For those of you who look like images to help you learn, if you're a visual learner, this is what it looks like as pizzas. So if I had a quarter of a pizza and another quarter of a pizza, and I put them together, I've got 2 quarters. And that's the same as having half a pizza. So this is quite a nice little image to remember. You might even want to sketch that in your book if it helps you. Example 2 shows us where step 1's going to be a little bit different, because this time my bottom numbers, my denominators, are not the same. I've got a 3 and a 6, and we need to make them the same before we continue. We can't add when they're different. So we need to think the number 6 is twice as big as 3. So to make the bottom numbers the same, we can multiply the top and bottom of the fraction by 2, like this. So if you go to the next page, you'll see how it works. Here we go. So we're basically timesing the 1 by 2 to make 2, and then the 3 by 2 to make 6. So 1/3 is the same as 2/6. So now I've converted that, my 1/3 is now 2/6, so it's now 2/6 add a 6th instead of 1/3 add a 6th. This is now step 1 done because my denominators are now the same. Again, for those of you that are visual learners, this might help. Now the fractions have the same bottom number, 6, our question looks like this. So I've got 2/6 and then I'm going to add on another 6. So step 2, I now need to add the top numbers and put them over the same denominator. So I'm going to add my 2 and 1, which gives me 3, and again all the bottom numbers need to be the same, 3/6. So I add my 2/6, I add on another 6, and I've got 3/6. And then of course, step 3, I need to simplify the fraction. So if I look at 3/6, I know I can divide both of these by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, 6 divided by 3 is 2. And that's step 3 done, and my final answer is a half. Visually, I add my 2/6, I add on my 6th, which gave me my 3/6, and I can see quite clearly in the picture that that's the same as a half. Subtracting fractions is exactly the same, I'm just going to take away. So, step 1 is the same. Make sure the bottom numbers, the denominators, are the same, and if they're not, you have to make them the same. Step 2, the only difference is this time I subtract the top numbers, but I still put the answer over the same denominator, and step 3 stays exactly the same, just to simplify. So in this example, step 1, the bottom numbers are already the same, so that's that done, don't need to do anything. Step 2, subtract the top numbers. So 3 take away 1 is 2, and my bottom numbers stay the same. So that takes me to 2 quarters. Step 2, done. Step 3, simplify the fractions. Well, 2/4. I can divide both of these by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So my answer is half. In example 2, my bottom numbers are different. This time I've got half take away a sixth. So before I can move on to step 2, I've got to make these the same. To make the bottom numbers the same, you need to multiply the top and bottom of the first fraction by 3, like this. And it won't always be 3. But in this example, if I've got a half and I've got a sixth, I want the bottom numbers to be the same. So I want to change this 2 into a 6. To change 2 into 6, I would have to times it by 3. So whatever I do to the bottom of a fraction, I do to the top. So 1 times 3. So this is going to make this into 3/6. Take away 1/6 is going to give me, well, my top numbers take away over the same bottom. 3 take away 1 is 2/6. So that takes me to 2/6. Step 1, done. Step 2, I've just done as well. And again, this is just going over what I've just done. So 3/6 take away 1/6, and we've already said that we know that's going to leave us with 2/6. Step 1 complete. Step 2, going into a bit more detail. This is what we've already done. We did the 3 take away 1/6, which gave us 2/6, and this is a nice little visual picture for you to see how that works. What we haven't done yet is step 3, which is to simplify. So to simplify, if I've got 2/6, I can divide both of those by 2. 2 divided by 2 gives me 1. 6 divided by 2 gives me 3. So my answer is 1/3. Question done.